Whispers of Time. London. Night. The rain tapped softly against the window, each drop like the tick of a fragile metronome. Emma sat at her desk, staring at an old silver pocket watch. Its casing was engraved with the initials ET, a gift from her father, who had died 10 years ago. The watch had stopped exactly at 3:17 a.m. It hadn't moved for 3 nights in a row. The tick no one hears. Emma was a neuropsychologist. She knew everything there was to know about how the mind perceives time, how the brain stretches or compresses seconds, how memory bends the hours. But knowledge didn't help. Lately, she couldn't shake the feeling that the world around her flowed at different speeds. On the subway, moments stretched endlessly, as if the train were dragging through thick air. At the clinic, entire days disappeared, as though someone had cut hours right out of her life. She blamed exhaustion, but deep down, a thought trembled. What if it wasn't her mind that was broken, but time itself? That night, she heard it for the first time. A whisper, barely audible, like someone standing behind her, breathing into her ear. "You're falling behind." Emma turned sharply. No one. Only the motionless watch on her desk. The keeper of time. The next day, she went to an old clock shop on Baker Street. The sign was faded. M. Caldwell, keeper of time. The man behind the counter looked as though he'd been there for centuries. "They won't move," Emma said, setting the watch down. Maybe the mechanism stuck. He examined it for a long moment, then looked up. "It's not the mechanism," he said softly. "You're stuck." Emma raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me." When people stop living in the present, time stops living with them. She almost laughed. Almost. Then he added, "Your father wore this, didn't he?" Her breath caught. "How did you?" "It carries an imprint. Not just of fingerprints, but of time itself. His time ended. Yours cracked." He handed the watch back, and for a heartbeat, she thought the second hand twitched. The fractures. That's when the gaps began. She'd walked down a street, blink, and suddenly she was somewhere else. In an elevator, lights would flicker, and she'd be on a different floor, though she hadn't pressed anything. She began keeping a journal. "I think there are holes between seconds. Sometimes I fall into them." Her colleague, Daniel, a psychiatrist, tried to convince her it was depersonalization, a stress response. But once, as they were talking in the corridor, Emma noticed he'd frozen mid-sentence. His face, his breath, still like a paused film. Only she could move. Time had stopped. She walked down the hallway, soundless, breathless. Everything hung motionless, like a photograph. Everything, except one thing. A clock on the wall, silver, identical to hers, was ticking. The knock of seconds. From that night on, the border between dream and waking blurred. In her sleep, she saw her father, the gray coat. The same train platform as the day he died. He looked at her calmly. "You're going the wrong way." "Where to?" "Back." When she woke, her journal contained entries she didn't remember writing. Neat handwriting. Familiar. Don't try to fix time. It doesn't want to be fixed. Sometimes she thought, maybe it was her, writing from another version of herself. From another moment. The loop. One night, Emma decided to test it. She sat at her desk, the watch before her, a recorder running. Time. 3:16 a.m. "If this is a psychotic episode," she said into the camera, "then let it be recorded. If it's something else, I want to know." The second hand trembled. Tick. Then the air itself began to ripple, as if the room had fallen underwater. Darkness. Silence. When her vision cleared, she was standing on an empty street, drowned in fog. The lamps glowed dimly, their halos melting into mist. In the distance, a figure. "Dad." The figure turned. It wasn't her father. It was her. Older. Gray hair. Tired eyes. The older Emma said, "Stop trying to fix the moment that never was." "What do you mean?" "You froze at 3:17, the moment he died. Time's been waiting for you to let go." And then everything dissolved. Awakening. Emma woke up in her bed. The recorder lay beside her. On the tape, only breathing. And then, faintly, "You're still here." She looked at the watch. It was ticking. 3:18 a.m. For the first time in 10 years, time had moved forward. The next morning, she went back to work. Her patients spoke of fears, of dreams, of time slipping through their hands. Emma listened, calm, present, feeling how every word, every breath flowed again in rhythm. Yet sometimes, when the world paused for half a second, she could feel it. Tom was watching her back, and in that silence, she heard the faintest sound, the steady pulse of seconds, whispering, "Time is not your enemy." Echo. Months passed. Emma no longer wore the watch. She kept it in her drawer instead, taking it out sometimes just to listen. The soft ticking soothed her. One rainy evening, there was a knock at her door. A boy, maybe 12, stood there, eyes wide and frightened. "Excuse me," he said quietly. "Someone told me you could help." I see time breaking." Emma knelt down, meeting his gaze. "Tell me what you see." He held out an old silver watch, identical to hers. The same engraving, ET. Emma smiled faintly. "All right," she said. "Let's start with this. Time isn't linear. It listens." Outside, the rain slowed, and somewhere far away, the world began to move again. The end. Thank you for listening to this story. Like and comment this video. Subscribe for more stories.